What's going on, everyone? It's JDC here today talking about why Kevin Porter Jr. will be in talks for the Most Improved Player Award and why I think he's going to have a breakout season next season. So what's up? My name is JDC. If you guys like the video, drop a like down below, press the sub button. It'd be appreciated. We do have NBA content here, but mostly Houston Rockets. I've been doing mostly NBA content recently because obviously there hasn't been too much about Houston Rockets. But, you know, we're going to do Houston Rockets today because I've missed doing Houston Rocket videos. So yeah, if you guys like what you see, drop a like down below, press the sub button. It'd be really appreciated. Let's get into the video. So there was a chart I saw on Instagram or Twitter. It was either one, but yeah, I saw a chart talking about the player odds for winning the Most Improved Player Award, and there were 3 players in front of Kevin Porter Jr. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Zion Williams both have the best odds to win the Most Improved. But then we also got people like Michael Porter Jr. and then Kevin Porter Jr. of the Houston Rockets. And, you know, to shout out my boy Christian Wood, he's also there too. So Kevin Porter Jr., I definitely think he's going to be a very great player next season. Probably going to be one of the more underrated players next season. He's going to be so great, especially adding in that, you know, we got Jalen Green now. We got all these good guys on the team that we could definitely be a very scary team if we're very healthy. Now, over the season, Kevin Porter Jr. did average 17 points per game last season. He did average 4 rebounds. He did average 6 assists, which is something that's very underrated about his game too, is that he can make the ball and did average 6 assists. So Kevin Porter Jr., offensive ability, absolutely amazing. Can definitely make the case of being a Most Improved next season. I definitely think he could get up to at least 20 and at least 29 or 20 and maybe 7 or 8, depending on who stays healthy and who doesn't. John Wall, if he stays healthy, his stats are probably going to be a little bit of the same than it was like last season, because John Wall going to be the primary ball handler of the team, and then adding on Jalen Green, who's going to be there, Christian Wood, who's also going to get the ball some more. So if we don't decide to trade Wall, then his stats are probably going to stay the same a little bit. Maybe at least like a few stats might rise up or go down. Nothing's guaranteed, but I definitely see his stats kind of staying the same, a little bit around that range. So, but if we do trade John Wall and Eric Gordon, his stats are straight skyrocketing out of the roof, especially with, you know, John Wall not being there, not being the primary ball handler. So with KPJ being the primary ball handler and then Jalen Green or vice versa, it's definitely going to make his stats go up a way more, especially because he did shoot 43% from the field and then 31% from 3, which is absolutely horrendous, comparing it to his last season, 2019-2020, where he did shoot 44% from the field and then 34% from 3. So, but he only did that in 23 minutes and 50 games played, while in Houston did play 26 games and 32 minutes average. So Kevin Porter Jr., I think he's going to have one of the better, well, not one of the better, but I think he's going to have a really good breakout season. It just really depends on how Houston performs as a team, because we also, like, every Houston Rockets fan knows, you know, what our team is and what, you know, each player holds. You know, people like Jae'sean, who knows his role, plays defense, you know, can add some offense a little bit. KJ Martin come off the bench. Christian Wood being that guy, that 20 and 10 guy. Jalen Green being that guy off the bench or starting for us. John Wall being that leader for us. But it just really depends on how the Houston Rockets play next season and how each player is healthy or not. Our season schedule definitely doesn't look that bad. I think we open up against the Timberwolves, which I want to say is October 20th. So yeah, we're not looking too bad in terms of our roster right now. Like, we do have a lot of young guys. Garuba, Christopher, both 19. Jalen Green, 19. Şengün, 19. Some of those guys are probably going to go to the G League. We still haven't signed Armani Brooks, which I probably will make a video pretty soon. But Kevin Porter Jr., man, there's just something about him that just screams potential. I don't know if it's his offensive ability, because his offensive ability is so high up there. His ceiling is so high. He's not even bad on defense either. He did average 0.3 blocks per game and 0.7 steals per game, which isn't all that bad. He is pretty decent at perimeter defense, you know, obviously being not one of the better defenders on the team, but can play at a pretty decent level. And the thing I like about KPJ is that he's putting in the work too. A lot of clips in this offseason were showing him in the gym working out with a ton of trainers and him working on his form and his game, which is what I love to see from the young guys, especially because it just shows that they got that work ethic that, you know, we need that from those guys. So it just proves to the Houston Rockets fans, and it just assures us that he's there to get better, and he just loves the city and wants us to win a chip. So KPJ, I definitely think he's here to stay for the long run. He is only 21 years old, so KPJ, I definitely see him as being one of the better and probably one of like our leaders on the team. Come next, I don't want to say like next season, but come like the next few years, we definitely can be within at least the conference finals. I don't want to like say anything too bold because nothing's guaranteed, but like later down in the next few years when John Wall's pretty old, Christian Wood's going to be in his prime in his 30s, Jae'sean is going to be in his 30s, KPJ is going to be what, 25, 24 years old, Jalen Green's going to be what, 23, 24. So our team in the next few years is going to be very great, just depending on how we develop and how we develop these young players. So I definitely think the Rockets have one of the better developing staffs in the league. They definitely did a great job developing KPJ, especially sending him down to the G League and then finding hidden talent like Kyrie Thomas, who obviously is kind of a random, but no, we won't talk about that too much. Andy Lamb, who also is another random, but Armani Brooks, we found him. We found Jae'Sean, KJ Martin, who was drafted 52nd in the 2019 NBA draft. So the Houston Rockets, I definitely believe in their front office. Rafael Stone, he's definitely surprised me a lot this season with the type of moves he's made, especially with that Robert Covington trade, trading him for 2 first-round picks, which was pretty cool, and that turned into Usman Garuba, which the Portland Trail Blazers could have had. So I definitely believe in this team. It just really depends on how each player develops, and honestly, I'm definitely counting on KPJ being one of our leaders in the future, just really depending on how he develops. So honestly, I like Kevin Porter Jr. I definitely think he's going to be here to stay, and I think he's going to be one of the leaders on the team. So that's the end of the video. My name is JDC. I'm signing out here. Peace.